The reading of a fine book is an uninterrupted dialogue in which the book speaks, and our soul replies. In literature as in love, we are astonished at what is chosen by others. Often we allow ourselves to be upset by small things we should despise and forget. We lose many irreplaceable hours brooding over grievances that, in a year's time, will be forgotten by us and by everybody. No, let us devote our life to worthwhile actions and feelings, to great thoughts, real affections, and enduring undertakings. A happy marriage is a long conversation which always seems too short. Without a family, man, alone in the world, trembles with the cold. Every 10 years you should delete from your mind a few ideas that your experience has proven to be false, dangerous. Conversation would be vastly improved by the constant use of 4 simple words. I do not know. We owe to the Middle Ages the 2 worst inventions of humanity: romantic love and gunpowder. Happiness is never there to stay. Happiness is merely a respite, offered by inquietude. Smile, for everyone lacks self-confidence, and more than any other one thing a smile reassures them. The art of reading is in great part that of acquiring a better understanding of life from one's encounter with it in a book. 2 human beings anchored to one another are like 2 ships shaken by waves. Their carcasses collide with one another and creak. If men could regard the events of their own lives with more open minds, they would frequently discover that they did not really desire the things they failed to obtain. Old age is far more than white hair, wrinkles, the feeling that it is too late and the game is finished, that the stage belongs to the rising generations. The true evil is not the weakening of the body, but the indifference of the soul. A successful marriage is an edifice that must be rebuilt every day. Without a family, man, alone in the world, trembles with the cold. We are almost always the craftsmen of our own unhappiness. Everything that is in agreement with our personal desires seems true. Everything that is not puts us into a rage. And why wander in these labyrinths? Once more, for aesthetic reasons. Because this present infinity, these vertiginous symmetries, have their tragic beauty. The form is more important than the content. Even our strongest emotions die. Don't you think? And we can look back to the woman we were 3 years ago with the same curiosity and detachment, as if it were someone else. One might have said that reason made him flee from reason. The life of a couple is lived on the mental level of the more mediocre of the 2 beings who compose it. Novelty, the most potent of all attractions, is also the most perishable. There is no absurdity or contradiction to which passion may not lead a man. When love or hate takes control, reason must submit, and then discover justifications for their folly. A few days later, we went to the opera together to watch my beloved Siegfried. It was a pleasure for me to listen to it beside the man who had become my hero. The first recipe for happiness is: avoid too lengthy meditation on the past. It is better to teach a few things perfectly than many things indifferently. Few are they who have never had a chance to achieve happiness, and few are those who have taken that chance. If you create an act, you create a habit. If you create a habit, you create a character. If you create a character, you create a destiny. Art is an effort to create, beside the real world, a more humane world. Our minds have unbelievable power over our bodies. We can talk frankly about our defects only to those who recognize our qualities. A marriage without conflicts is almost as inconceivable as a nation without crises. Time is a factor in all action. An imperfect scheme put into action at the proper time is better than a perfect one accomplished too late. The greedy search for money or success will almost always lead men into unhappiness. Why? Because that kind of life makes them depend upon things outside themselves. A true woman loves a strong man because she knows his weaknesses. She protects as much as she is protected. The difficult part in an argument is not to defend one's opinion, but rather to know it. Experience is valuable only when it has brought suffering, and when the suffering has left its mark upon both body and mind. To be witty is not enough. One must possess sufficient wit to avoid having too much of it. Sincerity is glass, discretion is diamond. All of us, from time to time, need a plunge into freedom and novelty, after which routine and discipline will seem delightful by contrast. Smile, for everyone lacks self-confidence, and more than any other one thing. A smile reassures them. A friend loves you for your intelligence, a mistress for your charm, but your family's love is unreasoning. You were born into it, and are of its flesh and blood. Nevertheless, it can irritate you more than any group of people in the world. We console ourselves with several friends for not having found one real one. We appreciate frankness from those who like us. Frankness from others is called insolence. Above all things, never be afraid. The enemy who forces you to retreat is himself afraid of you at that very moment. Advice is always a confession. A gentleman is never in a hurry. People are what you make them. A scornful look turns into a complete fool a man of average intelligence. A contemptuous indifference turns into an enemy a woman who, well treated, might have been an angel. Growing old is no more than a bad habit which a busy person has no time to form. Men cheat because they don't feel needed, women because they don't feel loved. Like a bird, when his cage is opened, stays on his perch, dazzled by freedom, the postponed traveler does not see that his cage, with its bars of anxiety, it is open. Learning is nothing without cultivated manners, but when the two are combined in a woman, you have one of the most exquisite products of civilization. There are certain persons for whom pure truth is a poison. Memory is a great artist. For every man, and for every woman, it makes the recollection of his or her life a work of art and an unfaithful record. The Lost Illusion is the undisclosed title of every novel. One has very little influence upon one's children. Their characters are what they are, and one can do nothing to change them. The most important quality in a leader is that of being acknowledged as such. All leaders whose fitness is questioned are clearly lacking in force. Style is the outcome of constraint. An unsatisfied woman requires luxury, but a woman who is in love with a man will lie on a board. No one can be profoundly original who does not avoid eccentricity.